So I should say, got it? Got it.
Got it. Do not press leave meeting.
Right.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Rehill. I'm the chairperson of the Library Board of Trustees. And I call this meeting to order at 7:05 p.m. I will now read the appropriate advisory. This open meeting of the Library Board of Trustees is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. All members of the Library Board of Trustees are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The act allows Library Board of Trustees to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. I will now do a roll call to make sure that all members are present. Brittany Burns is not present. Mitch Cohen is not present. Mary Crowley.
I am present.
Thank you. Pat Fonts.
Present.
Jim Hogan.
Jim Hogan present.
Jocelyn McHelney.
Jocelyn McKelney, present.
Beth Thomas.
Beth Thomas, present.
Richard Tucker.
Richard Tucker, present.
And I'm Michelle Rehill. I'm present. And we also have with us Library Director Jen Bruno. All right, that out of the way. I have no special opening remarks. So I would be happy to entertain a vote to approve the minutes of the March 14th, 2023 meeting.
Michelle, is that February 14th or March 14th?
March 14th.
Okay. Thank you. I have it. For some reason I ended up with February.
They were both in the email.
I'm sorry, Mary?
No, the February 14th came in a previous email before this one with the March 14th. So they sort of overlapped in the distribution.
Okay, thank you. All right.
The minutes are from the minutes we're looking at from the March 4th meeting, March 14th meeting.
March 14th. Yep. Thank you. All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
I
Thank
second.
Jocelyn. Thank you, Mary. All right. And a roll call vote again. Mary Crowley.
I approve.
Okay. Pat.
I approve.
Jim.
Jim Hogan, I approve.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn, I.
Beth.
Beth Thomas, aye.
Richard.
Richard Tucker, aye.
I also approve it. The motion carries in the affirmative and is unanimous. All right, we will move on to the appropriations report for March. Are there any questions or concerns? Anything anybody wants to point out?
Jen, are you pleased with how things are shaking out there?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I would like to not be so completely overspent in building maintenance, but it
Okay.
is what it is. And I've had conversations with the finance director and we're all set. Bottom line, like everything is funded and we're good to go. It's just, yeah, I mostly I just wish there weren't so many problems necessitating an overexpenditure in that line.
And that is extremely unfortunate, but not of your doing.
Right. I'd rather be overspent in a line I can't control.
That is correct. Yeah,
Yeah, that you can't get in trouble for that one.
right.
All right. If there aren't any other questions or comments about the appropriations report, we can move on to the library director's report. I lost my library director's report. There it is. It's a little different format this month. I like it.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been experimenting with readability of reports. So let me know if you like it, if you don't like it.
I'm gonna have to mull it over a while, but now that I know, I knew what I was looking at. 'Cause you know, starting with the programs up front, which I think is sort of an interesting something to highlight.
The only thing I would add is, I like it, but I would just add somewhere up on the top that it is the library director's report.
Good suggestion.
Oh, yeah, because it does, yeah, you did put the April library report.
Right. I'll add the
It
word director.
It does reflect more than just you, but
Right.
okay.
But it should match the agenda.
Oh, it does, yeah, absolutely.
I'll fix that.
I'm very excited to hear that everything went through. All parties have agreed to restoring the hours. Eric's on board with that. The town end is on board,
Mhm.
so we can move forward with that and then do it in the right way. I had one more thing that I wanted to bring up, but does anybody else have anything that they want to say or ask about Jen's report?
I'm just thrilled about the hours. So that was my only comment.
I have a question about the children's service desk.
Yep.
I love that it's moving to the center of the room. I think that's phenomenal. It'll be very, engaging and welcoming. And my question is, does that do anything? Is there anything that has to be done to the flooring in that room? I don't remember what's down for like carpet or hard surface, if there's any impact to the flooring from moving the desk from its current location.
Nope, it should be okay. Their carpet goes right under everything and they carpet it around the outlets that are on the floor. So where the desk is right now, we will move one of the large playhouses
Mhm.
on one end, and then Doc's tank is going to be on the wall on the
Oh,
other end.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it'll move some of that stuff out of the middle of the floor, and
Nice.
also kind of, there's a lot of different reasons. I mean, the crowding near the front of the
Mm.
room creates a lot of kids that run straight out the front door. I mean, that happens every time I'm in the conference room. It's guaranteed we're going to stop and go try to distract a kid that's trying to run out the front doors.
Nice.
So that should help with that, the crowding, the accessibility, but also just when the staff are in the staff children's room, frequently like on break or eating, you can look right past the desk and be like, "Oh, Katrina, I know you're like, I see you there," and then her lunch gets interrupted, and things like that. So, so moving it is good all around, and it won't trash the floor, which is nice.
That's the piece I couldn't remember, and I didn't have time to go into the library to look and see what that, because I could see moving the desk and like now there's plywood on the floor.
Right. Chances are the carpet will be a little bit different shade just
Yeah.
because it hasn't weathered. But it'll get mostly covered with the big house.
Cool. Thank you.
I had one question, because we have the funding for the children's desk.
Mhm.
Have we gone, kind of looking at the Mass Cultural Council grant,
Mhm.
have we gotten quotes for lobby redesign or for the technology for the meeting rooms, conference rooms?
So I am almost ready with the lobby redesign quotes, what is holding me up is the circulation desk. It is very hard to find something that fits all of the different things that were the different priorities that we had identified. Particularly that access point of adding some kind of second way out. Turns out they don't make that as like a standard thing. So
Wow.
yeah. I
That's
have not,
surprising to me.
Trap.
yeah, we must have looked at 15 different vendors and we've yet to find somebody that has just like the flip up thing. So we're looking at some different, you know, sort of creative options. I do have quotes for the new shelving, the display, the waterfall or tiered display things that we were looking at. And I decided that it might be better for the environment if instead of replacing the chairs that are in there, that we look at reupholstering them. Because they're
That's a
actually fine.
Good option.
And it would be less expensive. I did get a quote for some new chairs. They ended up looking so similar to the current chairs, you know, and they're $14,000 or something like that for 8 chairs. It was just outrageous and it didn't feel like a good expense or a good use of the money. So I reached out to 2 different local upholsterers and I'm just waiting to hear back. But I think that'll be all around better.
I just tossing out for adapting the circulation desk.
Mhm.
Have you had an opportunity or have you considered talking to a carpenter to
Excellent.
see if there's any way to redo the desk?
What
I
a
don't know.
simple, it's such a simple suggestion that of course I did not think of it. So I would, and I know one that does really good work locally. So I will reach out to him and see if there's an opportunity to, instead of buying a new desk, because that logistically is going to be difficult. Maybe the
And then-
carpenter can just adjust what we have.
Well, and then all you may need is a new surface.
Right.
If they could adjust the frame, then
Right.
it just would be by getting new Formica, not that it's Formica, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
We should have marble, but that's okay.
Crushed diamond.
Yeah.
Ooh. Aren't we being, they only gave us $66,000.
Oh, well.
Oh,
But yes, I should have something for the Building and Grounds Committee to meet and take a look at, because I'm comfortable buying a new children's desk. The lobby redesign is a little bit more substantial and I would really like a few more opinions on it before we move forward. I'm also working on finalizing quotes. I've reached out to 3 AV companies and everybody is so busy that they're not getting back to me for AV upgrades for the meeting room. The conference room is a little bit easier. If we wanted hybrid technology for meetings in that room, it would just be a meeting owl. And that would work well with a different table. The meeting room is a little bit more potentially complicated if we were looking at a sound system, and a meeting owl doesn't quite cut it for the size of the room. So I really need an expert to come in and tell us what we need. I don't know if it's the time of year and maybe things will settle down in a month or so, or if I just need to keep reaching out to different companies until I find somebody. But I will keep doing that. And I've been looking at different table configurations because the conference room, that one big table, I really do want to look at options that allow for different setups of the tables and different configurations. So I've been looking at some furniture for that and should have some recommendations or options for the Building and Grounds Committee within the next month. So I will reach out to Mitch. I have a feeling that Mitch will be more available after next week.
I
He
believe
seems
you
a
are
little
right.
busy right now.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, that's all
Jen-
coming soon. Yes.
And in regard to the health and wellness week materials you attached,
Mhm.
is this the trifold that you're creating?
Yes. So right after my report is the health literacy resource trifold.
Good.
That we created based on the resources that we link to on the website and then some of the town resources. So I had the health department take a look at this as well.
And did your staff create this?
I did actually.
Wow, it's quite a piece of work. It's very effective, I think. So you need an atta girl or something for that.
Thank you. I had a lot of
Pretty
fun
much.
creating this.
She got an impressive, I wrote a little note when I read that, after I was looking, I was like, wow, this is really impressive. Although, when I double-sided printed it, I made it flip the wrong way, so. When you
I
go
did that
from the outside of the trifold to the inside, you have to turn it upside down. But other than that, it was awesome. I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun creating this.
And like, just some great information. I mean, other than having it presented and really nicely.
Yep.
The information is really, really good.
I'm hoping that it will be helpful to people as they're looking for this type of information.
All right. Any other questions or comments about the library director's report? If not, we will move on to the new business of appointing a nominating committee. And I'm nominating Pat Fonts, Jim Hogan, and Beth Samus to the nominating committee. And I believe I sent an email outlining you have to nominate the chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary. And it does have to be posted as a public meeting. So once you have selected a date, a time and a date for that, the agenda will have to be sent to the town hall to be posted appropriately. And
Michelle,
yes.
excuse me. When does this have to be completed by? Just so I,
Oh, thank you. I can, the rest of the process. The committee has to appoint or draft the slate of officers and present that at the May 16th meeting. And then we vote on the slate of officers at the annual meeting, which is the June meeting. So as long as we have it in our hands to presented at the May 16th, I keep wanting to say it, May 16th trustees meeting.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And then you have to have, oh, Jim, I made you be the chair of that committee.
Okay.
And you'll have to do a meeting, you can present the slate of officers, I think, as the minutes of the meeting. That could be submitted as the slate of officers at the next meeting in May. So I think that checks all the boxes. Post meeting, present the slate.
What I'll do is, if it's okay, in the next day or two, then I will contact the other two members of the nominating committee via email. And we'll set up a routine for doing our business and setting a date for a meeting. And then I'll ask Jen to help us get the meeting posted at the town hall with Indy.
Yeah, so if you include Jen when you're sending out the email, include Jen in that to make sure that the meeting will be okay, you know, whatever date, time, If it's
Sure,
going
of
to be,
course.
if it's going to be a remote meeting. Because then Jen can also set that up for you. Correct, Jen? I got it?
That sounds good.
That is
All right.
correct, yes.
Thank
So I'll
you.
be in touch with the other two, with Beth and Pat, within the next day or two.
Okay. All right, then I can jump to the date of the next meeting is May 16th, 2023 at 7 p.m. And I can now ask, is there any other business that may come before the board at this time?
Michelle, I don't know if this counts as business or just a question. I know we had talked as a board about remote meetings versus in-person meetings. And there was a question, I think the last time we talked, is how long we were legally allowed to continue meeting remotely. I don't know if there's been any update to that information.
Pretty sure that we got one that I believe it was extended for another year.
Right.
Okay.
And they are discussing whether or not they're going to make it a permanent option. But it has been extended for a year.
Okay. Judging by the nods and all my other squares, everybody knew this but me. So next time, if all the cool kids would please share this with me, that would be great.
News to me too.
Okay, cool, Pat. We can be the new cool kids.
What I think people are hoping is that going forward, when we return to remote meetings, we might also have the opportunity to allow the public more access to our meetings. And they might, they wouldn't be able to, speak or vote or anything, I don't think, but they'd be able to observe what we were doing, and all in the, in the idea of transparency. So I think that's what the thinking is going forward from what everything I've been able to see. But these Zoom meetings are fine. They're great, actually, but I'd love to have an in-person meeting at some time, not in the, in the near future.
I agree. I love the
Mhm.
virtual meetings. There's an accessibility, a flexibility that it allows. And I think that as we're looking, Jen, at the AV upgrades to the library, there's the opportunity to have hybrid meetings for folks who might be traveling but could still attend from wherever they are, as long as they're not actually in a car. I've noticed this at work too, where we've found that folks are able to be more participatory in things that they couldn't have joined in the past because we had to rely on technology. Now we have the option to rely on technology. So all that to say, I'm pleased to know that this is something that is hopefully continuing and will be something that we can leverage, well into the future.
Well said.
That's it. I'm done. Thanks, Michelle.
Okay, you're welcome. If there aren't any other more, sure. If there aren't any more questions or comments or other business.
I just had a quick question. Have there been any updates about the historical marker that we talked about many months ago?
Good question.
It was approved to be funded. So I believe the Building and Grounds Committee has to hammer out the wording. So at their next meeting.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
This is Pat Fonce. I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Pat. Do I have a second?
I second. Beth Thomas seconds.
Thank you, Beth. All right, by roll call vote, all those in favor of adjourning the meeting, Mary Crowley,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Jim,
Jim Hogan, aye.
Jocelyn,
Jocelyn McKelney, aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Richard,
Good Tucker, aye.
and I also say aye. The motion carries in the affirmative unanimously. This meeting is adjourned at 7:29 p.m.